Someone in the comment sections recently said they wanted to see a collection video or more content about Wingard Wearables from me. So I think what I'm going to do is just a little collection video. Here's my collection. Spoiler alert. And then maybe at a future point, we have a watermelon we've been ignoring. And I expect this weekend I will be dispatching it. And I think I will do it with these implements here. So I'll shoot that and post that too. That's a promise, presuming we don't eat it, which I don't think we will. We haven't exhibited the will to eat it thus far. It was a gift and was a little funky to begin with. So anyway, here is my Wingard Wearables collection. In short, here's the Stingray Tomahawk, here's the Empress Tomahawk, and the Backripper Tomahawk. This is the one that started it all for them. These are all the standard or large sizes. They come in MOLLE compatible versions, these two do, that are shorter and a little more slender in the haft so that they fit in the webbing of MOLLE gear. All right, that said, let's take a look at each one individually. And I'll do them in order of how I received them, how I got them. So this was the first thing I got. And I got this before I had my conversation with Zac Wingard of Wingard Wearables, the man behind these implements, on the podcast and also on Thursday Night Knives. And then once I got this, it was one of you. It was one of the viewers who turned me on to him in the first place on Instagram. And now I'm sorry, I don't remember who that was. Maybe Timothy Becker sent me in his direction. But anyway, I went and checked him out. Loved his work, and it's quirky and totally purpose-driven. Now, Zac Wingard of Wingard Wearables has a real knowledge of the natural world and also a real love and knowledge of early American history, including the northeastern woodland tribes and their practices, and specifically their weapons and war clubs and other things. Speaking of war clubs, this is actually another reason I wanted to make this video, is that I'm getting excited. Speaking of war clubs, he has announced he's going to be doing a war club, and I am so excited. And it'll still fit in your pants. Now, that's the whole raison d'etre for all of these. You see this curve here on this Tomahawk, on the Empress. You see this curve on the Backripper. That is to conform to your body, so you can sort of wear this in the waistband in the really thorough and excellent containment systems and quick draw system that Zac has rigged up for these. But anyway, let's talk about this. This is a spontoon hawk, and a spontoon tomahawk is different in that it doesn't have a blade. It does have a blade, but it's more of a dagger blade than an axe type blade. And then if you look closely at this knife, you'll see that this spontoon hawk really emulates the shape of a megalodon tooth. You've got sort of the flat back, and then the sharp edges, and then a sort of, a demi-elliptical shape on the outside. And it just creates an incredible gaping penetration up to about that wide. This thing behaves like a shark tooth. There's a video of Zac's mother-in-law going after a watermelon with this, and naturally she's a mother-in-law. She's not going at it with the same sort of aplomb I would, or say Zac Wingard would, but she gently taps the watermelon with this, and it buries all the way up to the haft. This is just a nasty sort of percussive penetrating weapon. And then on the back, it's got this curved hook that is just a meat grabber. It's pretty darn sharp on the inside here. I bet I could cut paper with that. I've never tried. Do I have any? No, not quite paper cutting, but very sharp, and would be just hideously nasty if raked across your skin or used to hook and pull, say on your arm or on your shoulder or anywhere, your leg, the back of your knee. It's a terrifying weapon. And actually, when I first got this, I had also just gotten a really nice maroon shirt, and I was trying out drawing this and putting it back in, and I shredded, well, I didn't shred it, but I one puncture hole right up to the base of this hook into that brand new shirt. Luckily, it didn't get me. It got the shirt. I just got some super glue and super glued it shut. And it's a shirt that I usually wear under a jacket anyway, so, you know. All right, so a hallmark of Wingard Wearables Tomahawks is that, unlike, say, here, let me get one over here. Unlike, say, a cold steel tomahawk, or many other types of tomahawks that are friction fit onto a haft. So this haft has a gradual widening, and you put the tomahawk head at the base, put it on at the base of the handle, and then let it drop down and bang it here, get it to wedge itself up there, and then in this case you screw it in there, or in my case screw an epoxy and whatever else. Wingard does it differently. They do it the traditional way, which is hung with wedges. So this hickory, this is American hickory, I think from Pennsylvania. Zac Wingard and Wingard Wearables is based in Pennsylvania. There's their maker's mark branded in there. And they have the, they get their wood. He does all the hafts and the hanging of the heads. He has the heads forged, or in this case, this is silicone bronze, so this was cast. But the others are steel, and those are forged. Another one, the third one is done in yet a different way. And now I can't remember exactly how. So this is hung not by sliding it over this way. It's by creating a perfect eye in the head of the tomahawk, and then matching the wood here to the same dimension, hanging this on there, and then taking a wedge of, you can see it's a cross wedge, it's a wedge that way and a wedge that way, of the same wood from the same batch, so that it expands and contracts at exactly the same rate, and you won't get rattle, and drives that wedge in there, and then tops it with a silicone epoxy. So, I mean, this head is really on there, and it's never going to rattle like my cold steel. Depending on the season, it's loose and it rattles. You saw how around the head there was, you know, I assure you, when I stained this, I stained up to the thing, but it expands and contracts, and anyway, you don't have that with this. Really nicely done. Okay, so this is, like I said, cast silicone bronze. This is a fire roasted, fire blackened hickory, and then he rubs it with a linseed oil and I think beeswax combination, something like that, and just gets this beautiful shape, or this beautiful luster and feel to it. These sort of gill-like grooves are there for gription and indexing, and then down here you have this point that is really quite nasty. It focuses, you can focus a lot of energy right there on that tip. So this thing is awesome. The Empress Tomahawk, this is my non-firearm option for next to the bed home defense. All right, next here, I'm going to put this one aside. Next up, the Backripper. Now this is the one that started it all for Wingard Wearables. This is a classic, based on the classic Spike Hawk, but there are some real obvious changes, and we'll take a look at the head first. First, you say that blade is kind of narrow, and this doesn't look like a spike at all. So the narrow head. Let's take a look at this. This is not a historical example, but it is a a take on a historical example. This is by Elmer Ruch, and this is apparently taken from a historical example. You can see that he put the hung the head on the haft in the same wedged manner. But you see, this isn't a very big blade, but even this wide beard, who knows, if you're using this is supposed to be a fighting implement, and it goes in to an area that has a lot of bone, like a rib cage or something. Having a big beard on this could take this weapon out of action, theoretically. I think that is the theory. I know that is the theory that goes into this nice narrow head. Not only does it leave you with less steel and therefore a quicker weapon, there should not be much recovery when you swing with a tomahawk. It's not like swinging with a felling axe or something like that, where you're gonna have to regain your strength and to reverse the motion. It should be a very quick motion. A tomahawk should be a light thing if it's for fighting. So less material up here, a very sharp head, which I of course had to put my little English on. It's really sharp. And narrow, so if it does penetrate into your target, there's not too much of a beard here to hold on to the inside of whatever you've breached. There's the Wingard Wearables logo again, very cool. You can see the little spear. It's like they have a little pylon that you can wear in your belt line. That's pretty cool. You see the wedge there, and this is forged steel. Forged in either, I think he has it in Pennsylvania, Mississippi, or Missouri, like a couple of states, but all U.S. So the back part isn't a traditional percussive spike, like you see here. Oh, sounds like someone's home. This spike, which goes in and comes out. This is more of a grappling tool, of a grabbing, pulling, shredding, breaking down meat hook kind of a tool. And again, it's got that nice curve to wrap around your body. So Zac Wingard carries his all the time, his full length. So this is this is overall, what is this, 16? Yeah, this haft is 16 inches from here to here. And again, you got this American hickory that he has filed. I don't know if you can hear that. The family's going nuts upstairs, the dog and everything. He file brands this, so he gets a file red hot and and then rubs in that wax and linseed oil, and it gives it great traction. It gives it great look. It looks cool as hell. Feels great in hand. And then this one has this sort of red staining to it. There's another one that has a gray stain. You have your option when you order. You also have the option to get it right-handed with this curve here, or left-handed with the hook curving in the other direction. Either way, you get each one comes with a sheath and a carry system. This is for the Stingray. The carry system for this is where the carry system is for the Empress. And then you have this nice flaring out down here. Each one is numbered. Mine is 136. You can see that. I'm not sure if the Empresses are numbered. Wouldn't be surprised if they were, but I don't think this one is. But this is 136. Like I said, it comes with you can also get it with the Molly version, which is a 13-inch haft, and it doesn't flare out at the bottom. I think it's also more slender in this dimension so that it fits in Molly gear. This is definitely a weapon. This is not something that you're breaching doors with or anything like that. Then you're definitely not, chopping wood with this. You are using this in a combative way, and if the haft breaks, you save the head, you get a new one. That's the beauty of tomahawks. Of course, there are a whole host of modern manufactured tomahawks that have full tangs, and those are great too. I mean, I am not biased in my tomahawk love. I love them all, even the cold steel ones. But I have to say, the ones that are full tang remind me or seem to be more tool/weapons as opposed to weapon/tool. I know some people use these for gardening, oddly enough. Seems like a good thing. This is actually quite sharp on this edge. This one actually might, whoops, this one actually might cut paper. Let's see. Well, sort of. But in any case, very sharp, very nasty implement for grappling and trapping and breaking someone down, pulling literally. So yeah, nasty little bit of kit here. This one stays on my desk down here in the man cave, and is my, if anyone walks in, sort of implement. All right, let's just like my daughter and my dog.
Hi.
Hi, how was camp?
It was good.
Good. This one is the Stingray. This is his most recent Tomahawk. He has other things in the works, but as far as Tomahawks go, this is his most recent. The Stingray, he wanted a Spike Hawk again. These are all based on Spike Hawks. The Spontoon, the regular Spike Hawk, and then this one based on that percussive spike. So this is here for throwing and sticking, and also for a percussive strike. Whereas the spikes on these are actually hooked blades and are meant more for trapping and hooking. This is meant for putting holes, deep holes in things, and also for sticking when throwing.
They both look cool.
Yeah, they're all cool. This, if you look at it, looks like a chisel tip, much more strong than a point, and then it's octagonal. See you, sweetie. And then it's octagonal in cross section here. Starts off hexagonal, but as it widens, becomes an octagon, and does punch a nasty hole in things. I have used this against pumpkins. Pumpkins didn't stand a chance. You see the wedge in there, and then here on the blade. Before I was talking about the width of the blade of the Backripper being slender so you could extract it. Well, this is not so slender, but you'll see Zac has put sort of a half moon on this side so that you got a half moon on both sides. So this easily, first of all, how big is that? That's almost 3 inches, 2.75 inches or so, and you've got a nice cutting edge. But bless you, but once it penetrates, boom, say it penetrates up there into soft tissue or a rib cage or something, as it comes out, you can see that the shape of the blade isn't going to hang it up anywhere. You don't have a beard. I love the way beards look on, big gnarly beards on Viking looking things, but it's very impractical. If you're to over penetrate and get that beard inside of something, then you're dragging around whatever you've hit until you've managed to extract it. So right here, you have a blade shaped for that purpose. And then here, like I said, I have not thrown this. I should and can. I just don't want to throw it at the tree in my yard. We have a couple. Most of them I would miss. I wouldn't be accurate enough. The big one, I love that tree, and I'm not doing anything like throwing anything into it. So I got to take this to the park and throw it, but people will think I'm crazy. That's long for me to say. I don't feel like throwing this, but I do like carrying it around. I have carried it around on security detail at the house. That's late night paranoia detail. But you do have, again, hickory with that sort of blood red coloring. You have the branding, I think from a different kind of file. Is that right? Or a cheese grater? What is that? It's beautiful, whatever it is. And then the way this is hung. And inside of this head, you have flanges. So if you look at it this way, you have protrusions that are the length of this, the inside of this eye, that stick out, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch or so, and cut into the wood. So there's going to be no play ever in any direction, because you've got 1, 2 on one side and I think 3 on the other, biting into that wood. for the full length. So pretty cool little feature. And then of course I think there's epoxy in there. There's the wedge, and this thing is just so awesome. Now there was a different, I think this was drop forged as opposed to hand forged or something. I'm sorry, I don't have my spec cards. He sends out these beautiful handwritten, hand-drawn spec cards for each one of his products, and I have them in a special little file, and I forgot to extract them for this video, but everything is explained in there. And this is number 7. I got lucky number 7. I remember he asked if I wanted any specific number, and this was when they were first released, and of course I said lucky number 7. Oh, but what I was saying is I like walking around with this one during my late night witching paranoia hour thing, because otherwise known as did I lock everything? Because it's so short. It's almost like it's like a small hammer in length here, but you have this crazy spike. It would take very little to disarm someone menacing you with some sort of hand implement. I mean, you hit them with this, forget it. Anyway, okay, so that is the Stingray, and then lastly I have the Quill. You've seen this many times during my pocket checks on the show and on Thursday Night Knives. I carry this quite a bit. You just kind of drop it in your pocket. That's how I do it. I have little leather things it fits in and everything, but me just dropping this in my pocket, I've never had this poke me in any unpleasant way. Only in pleasant ways. Just kidding. I haven't had any discomfort with this thing, but it's just a great all-around tool. I've used it for removing staples. I use that a lot. I use this to carb coffee cups when I get a to-go cup and the little tiny hole doesn't allow adequate flow for coffee. Tung, tung. I do that. I like knowing that it's in my pocket if I needed to deliver a little extra in a punch or in a haymaker or in a hammer fist. But really, it's just a kind of a worry stone. I like to fidget with it. It has 1,000,001 uses. It really does. Ask Zac of Wingard Wearables. He'll tell you he carries this. He says carries it on his ear. You can carry this. This was designed by Zac's wife to be worn behind the ear as wearable weaponry, if you will, or jewelry with a purpose. There again is the Wingard Wearables logo. This is, I think this is stainless. Well, anyway, I know that he does the hand file finishing, and man, what a beautiful job. These things are cool. This is the standard size. I got one for my wife that's a little bit more slender in cross section. And then there's the XL, which is big. It's nice, or it looks cool. I don't know. I haven't handled it, but they're all cool. All right. Well, thank you for checking out my Wingard Wearables Tomahawk and other implement collection. Here it is. And here's the family portrait. Definitely check out Wingard Wearables. Follow them on Instagram and YouTube. They put out videos on YouTube. And Zac is a very, very interesting guy and pretty darn charismatic. And if you like tomahawks, these things are not like anything that you have or have seen. All right. Thanks for watching. Take care.